Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'll be sharing my experience related to the Selenium frameworks, right? And I'll be talking about like what all technologies, I mean, anyone should know before going or creating any Selenium framework, right? At least you should be knowing these technologies, and it will also help you for one of your interview questions like what all components you have used in your frameworks, right? Because the technology which I'm going to talk about, they are the core component of the framework, right? So without wasting time, let's just begin with the components, like what all components should be knowing, or you can say what all technologies we should be knowing to create the Selenium framework. Okay, so the first one is TestNG, right? Many of you heard about this technology, right? So basically it's a test control framework, or you can say it's a test framework, okay, which is basically used to control our test cases. Okay, like the way we wanted to control our test cases. Let's suppose you have thousands of test cases, right? And out of those thousand, you wanted to execute only 400 or 500, right? Correct. So if you are going to execute only 400 test cases or 500 test cases, how you are going to control these test cases, right? So that kind of flexibility TestNG basically gives us. Okay, so this is the first technology I'm talking about. Now the second technology is like you can say data driven testing. Okay, so why I'm saying data driven testing is basically in your code you will be mostly fetching the data from the external resources like Excel sheets, right? So basically fetching the data from ex sorry for the typos, external resources like Excel sheets, right? Like your property files, file, right? Your config files, correct? So these are external files, and you should be knowing, I mean, you should know like how to read the data from these sheets, right? So this is the second technology which I'm talking about. It's not an independent technology, you can say, but why I'm I mean referring it as an independent here, because in your framework you in most of the cases you will be dealing with Excel files, property file, config files, and other files, right? So this is the second component, you can see, and it's the most important component of the framework, right? Now the third one is reporting, right? Your manager, your team lead is not, it's really, I mean, they're really not interested in your code, right? What they want end of the day is the report, right? So in your report, obviously you will be showing like how many test cases are failed, right? So basically you're gonna share results, right? Test results, like how many you have run, how many pass, how many of them fail, which are fail, what are, and maybe you wanted to include the screenshots as well, right? So these things you should be knowing. This is the third major components of the component of the framework, right? Let me segregate it so that it will be easy. Okay, now the fourth component is your log4j. I mean, even it's not about this Selenium framework. In the normal frameworks also, we do use logging a lot, right? Not, I would say a lot. I would say in almost all the cases, we generally use logging, right? So it's a logging framework, okay, which is used to generate logs, okay, right? By which you can identify like at which step your test case failed, right? In which method it got failed, at what point it failed, right? Or what are the results? I mean, it is again a way by which you can backtrack your results, right? The failure ones. Now the fifth component is basically your build management tool, right? So I'm not going to talk about here like what is Navan, how we use it, but just remember guys, it's a build management tool, okay, and you should be knowing it. if we are planning to start for any Selenium framework. I'll just give you an example. Let's suppose you are using Selenium WebDriver version 3.5 or 3.6, right? And maybe some Chrome driver or some other things, some other libraries of testing and other things, right? Maybe Excel libraries and all, right? If you want someone else, right, to set up this entire framework in their system, right, you have now in that case what you need to guide him, like you should be, I mean, you should sit with him or you should guide him like, okay, you need to download TestNG this version, maybe Apache POI this version, Selenium WebDriver this version, right? So instead of doing this, you can go ahead with the Maven. You can download the dependencies, or anyone can download the dependencies with the POM files, right? POM, that file, right? And once they invoke this entire framework, they can easily build, or they can easily use the libraries which are required for your framework, right, without even getting into those details. Okay, now the sixth technology I have included here is Jenkins, right? So why Jenkins is included? Basically it will give you the continuous integration part, right? Like how many times you have run the test cases, what are the pass percentage in, and it will show you the overall graph, right? Like in last 30 days how many times you have ran it. Okay, and what is the pass percentage in all these 30 days. It will show you that graph kind of thing. Okay, so that's the beauty of continuous integration. Let's suppose you wanted to run your test cases in 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the night, and by the time you start with your office, okay, maybe in morning 8 o'clock you want the report thing. Jenkins will control everything over there. Now the last one is like page object model, right? Okay, so this will help you to write your test development. It's basically a design pattern, okay, uh, which will just help you to develop your test cases. Okay, so as per my understanding, as per my experience, at least whosoever is going to start with creating the automation framework, they should be knowing all these technologies. And believe me, it won't take much time. Maybe you can just give 2 days for each and every technology and you're good to go. That's it. Okay, so I mean, this video will actually help you to give the answer of this important interview question, like what all technologies, or what are the major components you have used in your framework. Okay, and the second thing, maybe it will give you an idea like how you should plan your learning. I mean, basically you can plan your learnings. Okay, like how you should go ahead with the Selenium frameworks, right? And what all technologies you should be knowing. So that's it for this video. Please like, just feel free to comment if I'm wrong, and if you think like these technologies are not required, or maybe some other things which are really required. Okay, so I hope this video will help you. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching this video.